Chapter 410. A month passed in the blink of an eye. Riding the intermediate star magic vessel, Yang Feng crossed more than 100 celestial bodies. Traveling in a straight line, he finally crossed the planar star river's inner layer and arrived at the core area. Along the way, Yang Feng also encountered some astral life forms, but they were either slain by him, or he steered the star magic vessel to move along the astral passageway, avoiding them. At the same time, Yang Feng also collected a lot of astral stones and astral gold along the way. In the astral boundary, astral stones and astral gold weren't uncommon. However, they were consumables, and many astral secret treasures had to be consumed. Besides, apart from the astral boundary, they were practically extinct in other places, which was why they were so expensive. On this day, in front of a celestial body in the core area of the astral boundary, the space distorted, and an intermediate star magic vessel slowly flew out. After the star magic vessel flew out of the space, a dense swarm of reconnaissance aircrafts flew out and scattered in all directions. Every time Yang Feng approached a celestial body, he would release 100,000 reconnaissance aircrafts to search for traces of the semiplane. These days, more than 10 million reconnaissance aircrafts have been scattered in the planar star river, searching for traces of the semiplane. Something seems to be missing. Sitting on the star magic vessel, Yang Feng carefully studied the taboo text in his hand. He put the taboo text aside and looked at the vast starry sky, and a feeling of loneliness and desolation welled up in him. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose. Who knows what he was thinking, but he revealed a smile. It's easy to go from frugality to extravagance, but difficult to go from extravagance to frugality. It seems that I still lack beautiful women to accompany me. If it's safe, I'll take Eunice and the others with me next time. Traces of a suspected semiplane have been found. Suddenly, Yang Feng's sea of knowledge trembled, and a mechanical voice sounded. There's a clue. Yang Feng's eyes lit up, and he quickly browsed through the specific information, and his eyes revealed a look of ecstasy. It turns out to be near a celestial body I passed by not long ago. Yang Feng immediately silently recited an incantation and pointed at the star magic vessel, and a black ray suddenly entered the star magic vessel. With a flash of devilish light, the star path suddenly appeared, and the star magic vessel immediately passed through the star path and flew towards the distance. With a wave of distortion, the star magic ship passed through the astral path and appeared on another planet. With a flash of black light, it suddenly flew toward the west of that planet. The black light flew for a long time in the astral plane and suddenly stopped in front of a reconnaissance plane. This is the suspected existence of a half-plane. Standing on the reconnaissance plane, Yang Feng looked into the distance with a scorching look in his eyes. Not far away from the reconnaissance plane, there was a continent floating in the void. The continent was like an island floating in the astral world. It was only 300 kilometers in radius and was shrouded in a thin layer of atmosphere, as if there were no signs of life. Yang Feng flew to the floating continent, silently recited an incantation, pointed at the continent, and cast the level 4 spell plane will detect. With Yang Feng as the center, magic ripples that were difficult to see with the naked eye spread in all directions. After a long time, the ripples shrouded the continent, and then trembled slightly and transmitted in human fluctuations. Yang Feng's eyes lit up and flashed with excitement. That's right, this is a semiplane that can grow continuously. It's also the main material to refine a true divine country. A semiplane that could grow continuously was the main material to refine a divine country. Without a semiplane, even gods couldn't refine their own divine country out of thin air. Without a divine kingdom of their own, the divine spirits were inferior to the other divine spirits, and they lacked a sense of security. Yang Feng waved his hand, and a fist-sized black secret treasure semiplane seal sphere suddenly flew out and landed on the semiplane. Black rays of light rushed out of the demiplane sealing sphere and shot towards the demiplane below. Under the illumination of the black light, the demiplane slowly shrank inch by inch. Even with a specialized secret treasure, it was still very strenuous for Yang Feng to seal a semiplane with his great warlock rank cultivation base. 10 days passed in an instant and the demiplane finally shrunk to the size of a fist and flew towards the demiplane sealing sphere inch by inch. Suddenly, Yang Feng's face flickered, and he looked north. A warship that was over 1,000 meters long and was completely forged from white jade dragon bone, and it gave off a terrifying dragon's might. It was similar to the Star Magic ship. On the battleship, there were several hundred experts from the dragon clan with dragon horns and handsome appearances. Their bodies were enveloped in a thick layer of dragon aura and their faces were filled with arrogance. In the center of the warship, there was a litter decorated with countless fist-sized pearls, covered in starry sky warlock rank tiger-type extraordinary life form fur, and inlaid with countless bright gems. In the luxurious litter sat a handsome young man dressed in a white robe. He had a pair of golden dragon horns on his head, and his eyes flickered with golden light, full of majesty and domineeringness. When Yang Feng saw the dragon expert sitting in the luxurious litter, his heart shook slightly, and his eyes shimmered with graveness. This fellow isn't easy to deal with. The golden-horned dragon expert dressed in a white robe glanced indifferently at Yang Feng. His golden eyes radiated excitement, and he uttered loftily, "Semi-plane. Not bad. I didn't come all the way from the Plane of Dragons to the core area of the planar Star River in vain. Demon, hand over the semi-plane and scram. I'm in a good mood today, so I don't want to kill anyone." Dragons were one of the apex existences of extraordinary life forms. In terms of individual strength alone, the strength of the Dragon Clan was far above that of the Devil Clan. If it wasn't for the low reproductive ability of pure dragons, and the scarcity of primordial dragons, archaic dragons, and immemorial dragons, the warlock emperors of the 7 warlock dynasties might not have been able to suppress the Plane of Dragons. According to legend, when the founder of the first warlock dynasty, the Time Lord, ascended to the throne and suppressed the Plane of Dragons, he once fought with a primordial dragon of the Plane of Dragons. Although he managed to suppress the primordial dragon, he was also gravely injured. In the end, he died young and died young. Of course, there were also legends that the Time Lord was seriously injured by the many archgods of the Xianxia plane when he fought with them, leading to his early death. No matter what kind of legend it was, there were several stories of primordial dragons fighting with the Time Lord. The strength of dragons could be well imagined. Yang Feng pointed with his hand, and the semiplane seal sphere opened and devoured the shrunken semiplane. He put it away and sneered coldly, "I am the demon commander Kuei Wolf, a subordinate of the demon emperor Cartman. You bastard, you want to threaten me? Do you want to be exterminated?" A very beautiful dragon expert smiled coldly, took a step forward and barked, "A trifling demon emperor dares to threaten His Highness Delik. What a fool. Lowly demon commander, the sir in front of you is His Highness Deligan, the 9th son of the Plane of Dragons archaic 8-headed gold dragon King Brannies. Why don't you kneel down and repent for your sins? Do you want your race to be exterminated? Even junior demon gods have to be respectful in front of His Majesty Brannies. Who do you think you are?" Delican's eyes flashed with a cruel glint, and he said coldly, "Enough. Kadi, this demon ant dares to provoke me. The few of you go and exterminate him." "Yes, Your Highness." A dozen plus dragon experts bowed towards Delican in salute. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered with a cold glint, and he pressed the dimensional badge on his chest, and battle robots flew out of the dimensional badge. The situation could break out at any moment. At this moment, whistling sounds came from afar, and a fearsome black demonic wind gushed out from the depths of the planar Star River and swept towards everyone. In the wake of the fearsome black demonic wind, bright stars dimmed and disappeared from the starry sky. When Delican saw the black demonic wind suddenly appear in the distance, his complexion changed dramatically, and he cried out, "Shit! Star River Dark Storm!" On the huge white jade dragon bone warship, the faces of all the experts of the Dragon Clan changed greatly. They quickly chanted incantations and cast powerful spells on themselves. Star River Dark Storm was a terrifying natural disaster of the planar Star River. Once a star was hit by it, it would be extinguished. Even if it was a bright world warlock rank expert, their fleshly body would be extinguished and their soul shattered by the Star River Dark Storm full of dark energy. As long as a great warlock rank expert was grazed by it, only death would await them. Yang Feng's complexion changed dramatically, and he silently recited an incantation and pointed at the star magic vessel. A twisted passageway suddenly appeared. The astral passageway twisted wildly and became chaotic. Clearly, it was greatly affected by the Star River Dark Storm and became extremely unstable. Yang Feng gritted his teeth and steered the star magic vessel towards the astral passageway without hesitation. Once he was hit by the Star River Dark Storm, he would be dead. This was the only choice he could make. Delican's complexion changed several times, and he silently recited an incantation and pointed with a finger, and magic light enveloped the White Jade Dragon Bone warship. The White Jade Dragon Bone warship exuded astral aura, and light enveloped it and entered the void. A huge hole suddenly appeared, and a twisted and chaotic astral passageway appeared in front of the White Jade Dragon Bone warship, which looked like it could collapse at any time. The White Jade Dragon Bone warship also flew into the astral path without hesitation, leaving traces of light in its wake. Chapter 411. On a continent that stretched as far as the eye could see, the space in midair twisted, and a White Jade Dragon Bone warship flew out shakily and landed on the ground. As soon as Delican flew out of the White Jade Dragon Bone warship, he cast the spell Dragon Eye and pointed at the sky. A golden vertical eye like that of a giant dragon suddenly appeared in the sky, looking in all directions. Delican's eyes flashed with excitement, and he laughed out loud. Here, could it be that place? It seems that my luck is really good. On the same continent, the space twisted, and a 300-meter tall, glistening emerald green tree suddenly flew out of the space and landed on the ground. A peerlessly beautiful high elven girl with a pair of pointed ears, dressed in emerald green leaf armor, and exuding the aura of nature flew out of the huge tree and looked at the huge spherical mountain range in the distance, and her beautiful eyes flashed with excitement. Is this the place? How lucky! It seems that I haven't wasted the past dozen-plus years in vain. On the same continent, the space twisted, and a huge meteorite 1,000 meters in diameter shot out of the space and landed on the ground. A 100-meter-tall bald giant clad in a layer of armor walked out of the meteorite, holding a huge beast bone in his hand. On the same continent, the space twisted, and a demonic ship surrounded by demonic chi flew out of the space and landed on the ground. This scene continued to play out in this endless continent. On the same continent, the space twisted, and a battered intermediate star magic vessel flew out of the space and landed shakily on the ground. When the intermediate star magic vessel was about to hit the ground, Yang Feng suddenly flew out of the star magic vessel, operated the dimensional crest, and stored the star magic vessel away. What is this place? Yang Feng looked around and saw that the surroundings were lush with all kinds of rare plants. At the same time, the continent was filled with formidable life magic energy. With a thought, Yang Feng activated the dimensional badge, and countless drones suddenly flew out from the dimensional badge and flew in all directions of the continent. Yang Feng took out a phone-like holographic projector and pressed it. Beams of light shot out from the holographic projector and formed a holographic projection in midair, gradually projecting the terrain of this continent. When an unmanned reconnaissance aircraft flew over an emerald green lake, a water arrow shot out from the lake and instantly pierced through the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft. The water arrow then sucked the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft into the lake. When an unmanned reconnaissance aircraft passed by a tree that was thousands of meters tall, a huge blue flower suddenly bloomed, and a blue light enveloped the unmanned reconnaissance aircraft. The unmanned reconnaissance aircraft immediately fell into the mouth of the tree and disappeared. Unmanned surveillance drones flew around the strange continent, gathering information about the terrain, but they were destroyed by the terrifying extraordinary creatures that covered the entire continent. Yang Feng looked at the images of the drones being destroyed, and his eyes flashed with a touch of graveness. What a dangerous place! This should be a rare life star in the astral boundary. Furthermore, it's a high-level life star that can give birth to powerful extraordinary life forms. Life stars were very rare in the astral boundary, and they were divided into 4 grades: low-level life stars, middle-level life stars, high-level life stars, and superior life stars. Low-level life stars could only give birth to level 3 warlock rank experts at most. Middle-level life stars could give birth to starry sky warlock rank experts. Superior-level life stars could give birth to glorious dawn warlock rank experts. Superior-level life stars could give birth to invincible experts comparable to the 7 warlock emperors. Of course, superior-level life stars were very rare in the astral boundary. Only the few warlock emperors and their strongest subordinates had encountered them while traveling in the astral boundary. Is this the legendary planar celestial sphere? A place that can give birth to a semi-plane seed. Yang Feng's face suddenly flickered, and he willed, and a certain place in the holographic projection of the continent was instantly enlarged. In the center of the vast continent, there was a huge hemispherical mountain range, from which traces of desolate and ancient aura diffused. In the center of the huge hemispherical mountain range, there was a dazzling light spreading in all directions. According to legend, in the core area of a planar star river, there were some life stars that could give birth to semiplanes. These life stars were called planar celestial spheres. In the astral boundary, this was one of the few places where semiplane seeds could be obtained. In the center of the huge hemispherical mountain range, there was a place where semiplane seeds could be nurtured. Yang Feng willed, and dozens of drones flew towards the center of the huge hemispherical mountain range. The dozens of drones had just flown to the vicinity of a dense forest when a terrifying astral world creature with a height of 100 meters, a crocodile-like head, a pair of fleshy wings on its back, and a long tail that resembled a giant dragon suddenly flew up, opened its mouth, and inhaled. A whirlpool appeared in the mouth of the astral life form, and the drones flew into the mouth of the astral life form. Yang Feng's face flickered, and he willed, and the drones flew towards the huge hemispherical mountain range from all directions. The 100-meter-long astral thunderbirds surrounded by lightning seemed to be alarmed by something. They suddenly flew out of their nests and flew towards the unmanned drones. Bolts of lightning flashed, and the drones fell from the sky one after another. In the middle of a desert, a sand-like yellow storm suddenly took shape and swept toward the sky. One by one, the drones were swallowed up by the terrifying storm and disappeared. Such a scene was not uncommon on the celestial life form. Not a single drone could reach the huge hemispherical mountain range before it was wiped out by the extraordinary life forms along the way. When Yang Feng saw this scene, his face turned gloomy. Yang Feng took a deep look in the direction of the hemispherical mountain range, and his eyes shimmered with a fierce glint. The planar celestial sphere should be located on a high-level life celestial body. These high-level life celestial bodies can give birth to glorious dawn warlock rank powerhouses at most. However, astral life forms don't have the wisdom of human warlocks, so there's nothing to fear. Watch as I crush my way through. A semiplane seed was more than 100 times more difficult to obtain than a complete semiplane. Only the 7 warlock emperors and other powerful beings of the same rank could freely enter and exit planar stars and easily obtain a semiplane seed. Otherwise, even if it was an infinity warlock rank powerhouse or a clone of a strong divine force rank god, they would have to rely on luck to obtain a semiplane seed. Since Yang Feng had a chance to obtain a semiplane seed, he didn't want to let it go. Yang Feng pressed the dimensional badge on his chest, and a level 1 mobile fortified stronghold appeared in front of him. Yang Feng quickly entered the level 1 mobile fortified stronghold, installed a top-notch warp gate, and activated it. The doors of the level 1 mobile fortified stronghold opened, and a steady stream of bladed robots, gunner robots, artillery robots, starry sky rippers, and other battle robots poured out of the mobile fortified stronghold. Not long after, a huge mechanical army poured out of the mobile fortified stronghold. Since the level 2 mobile fortified stronghold had just been manufactured, most of the level 8 battle robots weren't discarded. Instead, they were modified and their weapon systems were replaced, and then directly transported from the Tyrandot subcontinent to be used as cannon fodder. After the bladed robots and other battle robots were replaced with new weapons and equipment, although their performance was still far inferior to that of the new robots, but their destructive power was dramatically enhanced. Yang Feng looked at the dense mechanical legion, mused for a while, and then entered an ordinary mechanical shield troop, and then stayed away from a special captain's mech. The special captain's mech was red, 12 meters tall, forged entirely from divine blood steel, and equipped with a small positron cannon. Even if it was a Moonlight Warlock rank powerhouse, they would be seriously injured if hit by the small positron cannon. After Yang Feng hid inside the mechanical shield troop, he operated the mechanical shield troop to stay away from the captain's mech. Although the performance of the captain's mech was far greater than that of an ordinary mech, but the risk was also great. It was very easy to attract the siege of powerhouses. After more than 1 million battle robots poured out of the mobile fortified stronghold, the engines of the battle robots started, and they turned into a torrent of steel that sped towards the hemispherical mountain range. Before long, an extremely dense forest covered by 100-meter-tall giant trees, through which not a trace of light could penetrate, appeared in front of the mechanical legion. The bladed troops' engines roared, and they rushed to the giant trees in a few leaps and bounds. They brandished the super high-frequency oscillation blades in their hands and slashed at the giant trees. One after another, the giant trees were directly chopped into two by the bladed troops. Lumps of blood-like sap abruptly flowed out from the severed parts. Chapter 412. As if poking a hornet's nest, the roots of the giant trees in the forest were uprooted, and countless thick rattans swept towards the bladed troops like sharp arrows. Within a breath's time, 20 bladed troops were directly wrapped by the thick tree vines. The terrifying tree vines forcefully contracted. Shortly after, the protective covers of the bladed troops were crushed, and the bladed troops were squeezed to the point that they started to distort and deform. The bladed troops in the rear weren't afraid in the slightest. As if a steel flood, they plunged into the forest, brandishing their super high-frequency oscillation blades and chopping down the giant trees one by one. No matter how tricky the rattans of the giant trees were, they were all chopped down by the bladed troops one by one, forcibly clearing out a huge passage in the dense forest. In an unreasonable manner, the terrifying mechanical legion quickly carved out a path in the forest that originally didn't have the slightest path. If Yang Feng had come here alone, just this huge forest would have given him a huge headache. The giant trees in this extraordinary plant forest weren't strong, only around level 2 extraordinary life forms. However, the number of extraordinary plants in the tens of thousands would even give Starry Sky Warlocks some headaches. The giant tree-type extraordinary plants also had some low intelligence. After hundreds of thousands of their compatriots fell under the blades of the terrifying mechanical legion, they also gave birth to traces of fear. Many of the giant tree-type extraordinary plants uprooted themselves and fled towards other places. After passing through the huge forest, a grassland full of lush green grass appeared in front of Yang Feng and his party. The figures of a dozen bladed troops shook, and they flew into the grassland. The lush green grass suddenly shot up, as if sharp arrows, and shot towards the bladed troops. The dozen bladed troops instantly opened their protective covers, blocking the green grass. As if enraged, the green grass in the grassland shot out countless green grass, turning into a dense rain of arrows that shot towards the bladed troops. The arrows hit the bladed troops' protective covers, producing sounds akin to rain hitting banana leaves. The gunner troops equipped with flamethrowers suddenly flew out and sprayed long fire dragons towards the green grass in the grassland. The raging flames burned the transcendent grass in the grassland into ashes, and the terrifying flames spread in all directions. Countless astral insects of all shapes and sizes flew out from the dense green grass, forming a terrifying insect cloud that swept towards the battle robots. The dense swarm of insects rolled out, swallowing more than 30 bladed troops walking at the forefront, and their protective covers were instantly shattered. When the insect cloud flew out again, the 30-plus bladed troops were blackened, tattered, full of bumps and holes, and turned into piles of scrap iron, no longer able to budge. The gunner troops equipped with flamethrowers charged forward madly. Flames enveloped the sky and swept towards the insect cloud, turning the swarm of astral insects into fireballs that fell from midair. In the sea of fire, large swathes of astral insects died, and the dense insect cloud disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. The huge mechanical legion didn't stop advancing. It continued to advance while killing the astral insects. The insect cloud formed by the astral insects disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the end, the astral insects suddenly scattered and fled in different directions. Yang Feng, hidden within the huge mechanical legion, passed through the dangerous grassland that could devour great warlock rank experts. At the edge of the grassland, a huge mountain range could be seen. The towering mountain peaks blocked the line of sight of Yang Feng and company. Bladed troops equipped with flight equipment rose into the air and flew into the distance. The sound of the bladed troops' engines alarmed the extraordinary life forms hidden in the mountain peaks. A 100-meter-long astral storm falcon shrouded in gales, a 200-meter-long astral dragon-winged centipede with a pair of dragon wings, and a 10-meter-long astral thunder lion shrouded in lightning flew out of the mountain peaks and rushed over. The astral storm falcon was born with the power to manipulate wind elemental particles. After reaching adulthood, it possessed quasi-starry sky warlock rank strength. As soon as it appeared, a cold glint flashed in its eyes, and the mysterious natural wind magic pattern on its forehead flickered with radiance. Streams of wind elemental particles revolved around its body, and in the next moment, extremely violent wind blades chopped towards the bladed troops one after another. When the violent wind blades slashed at the bladed troops' energy shields, they split the bladed troops' energy shields and cut them into countless parts that fell from the sky. The astral world dragon-winged centipede opened its mouth and sprayed out a black beam of light, which exploded on a bladed troop. It easily penetrated the bladed troop's protective cover and fell on the bladed troop's body, corroding it into a pile of black poisonous liquid, which sprinkled on the ground from the sky and issued sizzling sounds. The astral thunder lion's whole body flickered with lightning. Lightning, as if lightning snakes, descended from the sky and bombarded the bladed troops. The bladed troops' protective covers as well as the bodies inside were charred black, and the bladed troops fell from the sky. Suddenly, starry sky rippers ejected from the countless battle robots and rushed towards the three quasi-starry sky warlock rank astral life forms. The astral dragon-winged centipede opened its maw, and dozens of black beams suddenly shot out, pierced through the energy shields of dozens of starry sky rippers, slammed into the bodies of the dozens of starry sky rippers, and corroded them into poisonous liquid. But in the next moment, nearly 100 starry sky rippers appeared beside the astral dragon-winged centipede and slashed at the astral dragon-winged centipede with super high-frequency oscillation blades. Along with miserable screams, the astral dragon-winged centipede suffered hundreds of injuries, and the pair of dragon wings on its back was chopped into pieces by the starry sky rippers. In an instant, the astral dragon-winged centipede and the starry sky rippers both suffered heavy losses. Before the astral dragon-winged centipede could react, it was chopped into countless pieces by the starry sky rippers and fell from the sky. On the other side, the astral thunder lion erupted with countless lightning snakes and flashes of lightning, and dozens of starry sky rippers were smashed into pieces. The starry sky rippers were crushed. Railgun beams fired from below slammed into the astral thunder lion and blasted it into pieces, and it fell from the sky. Seeing that the situation was anything but reassuring, the astral storm eagle rode a gust of wind and fled into the distance. A ferocious and tyrannical aura gushed out from the mountain range, and an astral beast more than 500 meters long, looking like a small mountain, with a pair of huge fleshy wings, a snake-like head, sharp teeth, a sharp sword-like tail, sharp bone spurs on its back, a strange magic rune on its forehead, and exuding moonlight warlock rank fluctuations of power flew out. The eyes of the huge astral beast flickered with cruel and tyrannical light, and it looked at the astral storm eagle. The quasi-starry sky warlock rank astral storm eagle screamed, and strange pustules appeared on its body, and then it burst open and turned into a pile of pus that spilled on the ground. Yang Feng, who was hiding in the mechanical legion, frowned, and his scalp turned numb. Damn it! I ran into the most annoying enemy. This is a moonlight warlock rank extraordinary life form, and one with the innate talent of curses. Moonlight warlock rank extraordinary life forms with the innate talent of curses were extremely terrifying. Some Moonlight Warlock rank curse extraordinary life forms could cast a curse on a warlock family for generations, making them suffer for eternity. The curse of some Moonlight Warlock rank curse extraordinary life forms could kill all the people of the same bloodline in a bloodline warlock family. In planar adventures, what human warlocks hated the most was to encounter such freaks with the innate talent of curses. As soon as the astral beast appeared, the massive mechanical legion's heavy firepower poured down on the astral beast in a frenzy. Countless super electromagnetic guns formed a rain of light that blasted toward the astral beast, completely sealing off the space it had to dodge. The astral beast's eyes shimmered with ridicule, and spatial fluctuations surged from it. When the railgun beams slammed into the astral beast, they twisted, and then slammed into the mountain behind it, blasting holes in the mountain. The astral beast opened its mouth and inhaled, and a vortex suddenly appeared in front of it. The starry sky rippers were sucked into the vortex by the terrifying suction force, collided with each other, and shattered into piles of broken parts. Hundreds of starry sky rippers plunged into the terrifying maelstrom and were crushed to pieces. The Type 1 space disruptor launched, and spatial interference ripples suddenly appeared and enveloped the astral beast. The spatial ripples on the astral beast instantly disappeared, and the densely packed super electromagnetic gun blasted its body like raindrops, tearing apart its protective scales. In an instant, countless bloody holes the size of toothpicks appeared on its body. Chapter 413. A black light flashed on the astral beast's body, and the numerous wounds on its body quickly healed in a somewhat despairing manner. The dense bombardment of the super electromagnetic gun seemed to have no effect, and the damage to the astral beast was completely healed in an instant. The astral beast opened its mouth, and a black beam of light shot out from its mouth, sweeping towards the mechanical army below. In the area enveloped by the black beam of light, the battle robots collapsed and shattered. Even if they activated their energy shields, they still couldn't resist the black beam of light in the slightest. After the black beam of light disappeared, a huge fan-shaped ravine extending for more than a dozen kilometers appeared on the ground. The ravine was littered with the remains of countless melted battle robots. With just one attack from the astral beast, more than 80,000 main battle robots were destroyed. Yang Feng, who was hiding in the rear of the mechanical legion, couldn't help but have his complexion change greatly. He calmly slowed down and quietly hid in a hidden corner at the rear of the mechanical legion. After the 80,000 battle robots were destroyed, a look of exhaustion streaked past the astral beast's eyes, and a spatial fluctuation enveloped it. In the next moment, the astral beast instantly appeared in the middle of the mechanical legion and extended its claw towards the captain mech. After the surrounding space disruptors were destroyed, the astral beast could freely use spatial force to shuttle through space. The captain mech activated an energy shield. At the same time, the small positron cannon on its shoulder fired at the astral beast's claw. With a dazzling radiance, the positron beam slammed into the claw of the astral beast and blasted a bloody hole in it. That astral beast did not dodge or evade. It swiped down with its claws. It seemed slow, but it was actually fast. It grabbed the captain's mech in its hand and squeezed it hard, crushing it into pieces. Yang Feng, who was hiding in the distance, felt a chill in his heart when he saw this scene. If he was hiding in the flashy captain mech, he would have been crushed by the astral demonic hand by now. The densely packed gravity spheres blasted out from the mechanical army and bombarded the body of the astral beast. The astral beast's body sank, and it fell to the ground. Type 1 frost manipulators suddenly stepped forward and shot at the astral beast's wings with freezing guns in their hands. Rays of freezing light shot at the wings of the astral beast. Immediately, huge chunks of ice formed on the wings of the astral beast, and a terrifying icy force spread towards the body of the astral beast. Starry sky rippers suddenly shot out and flew towards the astral beast's tail. The super high-frequency oscillation blades in their hands slashed wildly, cutting the astral beast's tail into a bloody mess and riddled it with scars. The artillery robots were holding small positron cannons. They were like small turrets as they fired at the astral beast's eyes. A dense rain of positron beams slammed into the astral beast's head and blasted open fist-sized bloody holes. One of the astral beast's eyes was shattered. The astral beast's tail suddenly moved, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into countless afterimages that bombarded the surroundings. Wherever the afterimages passed, all the starry sky rippers were smashed and turned into countless parts that splashed in all directions. The astral beast raised its wings, and the chunks of ice covering its wings were shattered one by one. A faint black mist surged on the body of the astral beast. Its shattered right eye and battered body were completely healed in an instant. Yang Feng frowned slightly. It has the ability to curse and has an almost undying recovery ability. What a troublesome existence! As soon as the astral beast recovered, its eyes flashed with an extremely fierce light. It opened its mouth, and a black beam of light suddenly shot out from its mouth, sweeping towards the huge mechanical army. In the wake of the black beam of light, the battle robots were shattered and turned into countless parts scattered on the ground. A fan-shaped ravine extending for more than a dozen kilometers appeared again, and the 100,000 battle robots were completely destroyed by the astral beast's attack. After releasing such powerful and wide-ranging attacks in succession, a trace of exhaustion streaked past the astral beast's eyes. Starry sky rippers suddenly erupted with a terrifying speed of Mach 10, flying towards the astral beast from all directions. Among the mechanical legion, a captain robot flew out again, fired a positron beam, and slammed into the astral beast's head, blasting open a fist-sized bloody hole. The astral beast was instantly enraged by this provocation. Spatial light shone all over its body. In an instant, it traversed through space and appeared in front of the captain's mech. It opened its bloody mouth and bit down, crushing the captain's mech in one bite and swallowing it. A dense rain of gravity spheres blasted out in an instant and hit the astral beast. The astral beast's body sank again, and it fell to the ground. Almost at the same time, Yang Feng released the Arc Battlestar. The main cannon of the Arc interstellar battleship was fully charged. A bright light shone, and a terrifying beam of light containing destructive power descended from the sky. It was like a hammer of divine punishment descending on the human world, and it smashed into the body of the astral beast. Under the bombardment of the fearsome beam of light, the astral beast's upper body was blasted to pieces. After the beam of light destroyed the astral beast's upper body, it continued to blast open a 100-meter-tall, bottomless hole on the ground behind it. After the attack, the light from the main cannon of the Arc astral battleship dimmed, and it slowly began to charge. After the upper body of the astral beast was destroyed by the main cannon of the interstellar battleship, the remaining lower body continued to squirm, and the dense granulation tissue grew rapidly in a very strange manner. Countless starry sky rippers suddenly flew out like a swarm of locusts and flew towards the remaining lower body of the astral beast in a flash. They frantically slashed at the lower body of the astral beast, chopping it into countless pieces. The engineering robots quickly flew forward, collected the remaining pieces of the astral beast's flesh, and put them into transparent crystal containers. The astral beast's remaining lower body was quickly shredded by the starry sky rippers, revealing a fist-sized astral core. After the astral core was taken away by the engineering robots, the astral beast's remaining body suddenly lost its vitality and could no longer regenerate. Engineering robots quickly flew to the area to search, and finally found 2 more astral realm magic cores like that. After fiddling with the 3 astral beast cores for a while, Yang Feng willed and threw them into the magical mechanical cloak. At the same time, he also threw the astral beast's remains he collected into the magical mechanical cloak. When the 3 monster cores and the astral beast's remains entered the magical mechanical cloak, rays of light rushed out and shone on the 3 monster cores and the remains. Countless liquid metal nanorobots and other minerals were injected into the magical mechanical cloak. The 3 magic cores and the astral beast remains absorbed the superculture liquid containing countless liquid metal nanorobots and strangely condensed into a heart that beat continuously. From that space, countless mechanical tentacles extended out like blood vessels and pierced into the heart, eroding and controlling the heart of the astral realm magical beast. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose into a smile. In this way, as long as I'm strong enough, I can transform into a Moonlight Warlock rank astral beast. The Moonlight Warlock rank astral beast was extremely powerful. Yang Feng used the Battlestar's primary artillery to seal the astral beast's spatial ability and movement ability, and then heavily injured it. Even among Moonlight Warlock rank extraordinary life forms, this astral beast was a first-class existence. If he could transform into this astral beast, Yang Feng's strength would be greatly enhanced. After killing the astral beast, no astral beasts dared to block his way in the surroundings of the mountain range. The huge mechanical legion rose into the air and flew towards the other side of the mountain range. Somewhere in the forest of the continent. A demon commander rank expert radiated demonic light and brandished his claws wildly, turning into countless claw afterimages that cut off countless tree vines. The hundreds and thousands of giant trees and extraordinary plants had already surrounded the demon commander. Countless tendrils stabbed towards the demon commander. The demon commander rank powerhouse struggled to hold on. Suddenly, a dark gold vine ejected from the earth and pierced the demon commander rank powerhouse. The demon commander rank powerhouse issued a miserable scream, struggled a few times, and then was sucked dry and turned into a mummy. Somewhere in the mountain range of the continent, an astral beast more than 200 meters long, resembling a huge flying snake, with a pair of wings on its ribs, no eyes, and sharp beast-like teeth, flew in the sky. Surrounding the astral beast were hundreds of dragons of various colors, who had returned to their original form. The dragons belched dragon breaths barreling towards the astral beast. The space around the astral beast distorted, and the dragon breaths were warped to the side. It flapped its wings, flew to in front of a 50-meter-long dragon, opened its ferocious maw at a frightening angle of 270 degrees, then snapped shut in an instant and swallowed the dragon, sputtering a copious amount of blood. Chapter 414. Seeing this scene, Deli Can, who had already transformed into a three-headed golden dragon, felt a chill in his heart and immediately turned into a golden ray of light and fled elsewhere. When the dragons saw Deli Can escape, they were all scared out of their wits and fled in all directions. The astral extraordinary life form that resembled a huge flying snake flashed continuously among the dragons like a ghost. After devouring 3 dragons, it flew back to the top of a mountain range with satisfaction, coiled around the top of the mountain range, and exuded rocks all over its body. As if petrified, its aura dissipated. This scene played out all over the continent. A day later, Yang Feng led the terrifying mechanical legion to crush all enemies. After killing 135 Great Warlock rank astral life forms and 30 Starry Sky Warlock rank astral life forms, destroying countless astral insects and astral extraordinary plants, he finally arrived at the spherical mountain range. The others are here as well? When Yang Feng arrived at the foot of the spherical mountain range, he frowned slightly. According to the reconnaissance aircraft, in addition to Yang Feng, there were 3 other groups of people who had also arrived at the foot of the mountain range. One of them was made up of 3 high elves, another was made up of 5 giants that were more than 100 meters tall, and the last was made up of Deli Can and the other dragon powerhouses. Of the 3 groups of people, everyone had injuries of various sizes. Deli Can originally had hundreds of dragon subordinates under his command, but now only 3 people followed him. Clearly, he had suffered heavy losses. The 3 groups of people were top Great Warlock rank experts. When Yang Feng's huge mechanical legion arrived, they were the first to discover it. Their countenances changed dramatically, and they stared at Yang Feng's mechanical legion as if they were facing a great enemy. 3 Starry Sky Rippers suddenly flew to in front of the 3 groups of people, and spoke flatly in a synthesized mechanical voice. "Everyone, please wait. This place has been reserved by my master. Please leave this place. After my master finishes what he wants to do, we can still be friends. Otherwise, we'll become mortal enemies. Who does your master think he is? A bunch of trash golems? Go to hell." Delican's eyes flashed with a fierce glint, and he silently recited an incantation and pointed at the sky. In the sky, fiery clouds were rolling and rolling. Enormous amounts of fire elements were madly gathering in the sky, and a fiery cloud covering a radius of several miles suddenly appeared. In the next moment, fireballs capable of easily burning level 1 warlock rank extraordinary life forms to ashes descended from the sky and swept towards the huge mechanical legion as if the end of the world had arrived. A handsome young Dragon Clan powerhouse beside Delican sneered. He silently chanted an incantation and pointed with his finger. Violent hurricanes surged around his body and then turned into terrifying gales that entered the rain of fireballs. The gales fanned the flames, making the fireballs even more violent. In the midst of the fearsome rain of fireballs, the battle robots activated their energy shields. When the fireballs blasted into the energy shields, they exploded, but they didn't harm the battle robots at all. Starry Sky Rippers suddenly erupted. With Mach 10 speed, along with sonic booms, they appeared in front of the 3 Dragon Clan powerhouses in an instant and slashed down. Delican's face fell. A gold dragon tail suddenly extended from his back and blasted into the Starry Sky Rippers, destroying the 7 Starry Sky Rippers besieging him one by one. The other 2 Dragon Clan powerhouses didn't expect that the Starry Sky Rippers would emerge alive from the rain of fire. Their reaction was a beat too slow. They could only erupt with a powerful life force, and thick dragon scales with astonishing defensive power emerged on their bodies. Blood splashed. In an instant, the 2 Dragon Clan powerhouses were chopped into countless pieces by the Starry Sky Rippers, leaving only their heads behind. Shock was written on their heads, as if they couldn't believe that they would die here. When the 3 High Elves and the 5 burly giant powerhouses saw that the 2 Dragon Clan powerhouses were easily killed by Yang Feng's Starry Sky Rippers, their countenances changed dramatically. Delican's face fell and he shouted, "Everyone, let's join forces. Let's work together to destroy those mechanical puppets and kill their owners. Then, we'll compete for the semi-plane seed based on our own abilities. Otherwise, we'll be killed one by the masters of these mechanical golems." Delican's body shook, and he turned into a 3-headed golden dragon. His 3 dragon heads fired numerous fire arrows, wind blades, and huge ice spikes barreling towards the Starry Sky Rippers. One after another, the magic shields of the Starry Sky Rippers were breached by the spells fired by the 3 dragon heads. They were either blasted apart, cut into pieces, or frozen into ice cubes, and fell from the sky. At this moment, a captain robot flew out of the swarm and fired a positron beam that slammed into Delican's dragon body. A water tank-sized puncture wound was blasted open, and a large amount of blood gushed out of Delican's dragon body and scattered on the ground. The complexion of the bald giant leader of the 5 giants changed several times, and he shouted, "I am Giant Heart. Human Warlock, if you agree to fight me one-on-one, then I'll give up the semi-plane seed. If you defeat me fair and square, then I'll give up on the semi-plane seed. Otherwise, we'll join the dragons and fight you. Then you can go to hell." Accompanied by a cold and cruel mechanical voice, a dense swarm of Starry Sky Rippers suddenly flew out of the mechanical legion and flew towards the 5-headed giants at a terrifying Mach 10 speed. A dense rain of railgun beams, positron beams, and other terrifying beams shot towards the 5 giants like raindrops. The complexion of Giant Heart changed dramatically, and he roared and unleashed the power of his domain. With him as the core, the power of the Earth domain erupted and enveloped an area 1,000 meters in radius. One after another, 100-meter-tall Earth giants emerged from Heart's Earth domain and rushed towards the Starry Sky Rippers. The other 4 giants also roared and urged their power to rush towards the battle robots. A male high elf asked the tall female high elf in the lead, "Lila, what should we do?" Lila's pretty face changed several times, and she pointed with a finger, and green light surged and formed a huge eyeball in midair. The eyeball looked into the distance and suddenly inhaled a breath of cold air. She saw a huge mechanical legion sweeping towards them like a sea. The terrifying mechanical torrent wasn't something that great warlock rank experts could resist. "Let's retreat." Lila made a prompt decision, and her figure blurred into motion and she retreated towards the foot of the mountain. The eyes of the other 2 high elves flickered with unwillingness, and they blurred into motion and retreated. A male high elf turned his eyes and silently recited an incantation, and his figure suddenly blurred. In the next moment he strangely became clear again. Suddenly, artillery troops and gunner troops rose into the air and fired wildly towards an area in the mountain range. Countless railgun beams and positron beams interweaved and bombarded the area. In that area, a male high elf appeared in a flash and shouted with a look of horror in his eyes, "Help!" Before the male high elf's words fell, he was shrouded by countless rays of light and blasted into pieces. Lila's eyes flashed with anger and she shouted, "We've already retreated, so why are you still killing our people? Do you want to become enemies with us high elves? Mountain climbers, die." Starry Sky Rippers suddenly flew out from the rear, their engines roaring, and surrounded Lila and the male high elf. In addition to the Starry Sky Rippers, there were also countless battle robots flying over, their electronic eyes flashing with frightening red light. At the same time, the three-headed golden dragon Delican screamed in midair. Dozens of Starry Sky Rippers flew towards him in a flash and slashed frantically, chopping him into countless pieces that fell from the sky. 2 of the 5 giants were killed by the fearless Starry Sky Ripper, leaving only 3 giants hiding in the Earth domain, struggling to hold on. When Lila and the high elf expert beside her saw this scene, they felt a chill in their hearts. The 3-headed golden dragon Delican was from the dragon race, one of the apex extraordinary life forms. Moreover, he was a 3-headed golden dragon with a quasi-starry sky warlock rank cultivation base. Even many starry sky warlocks might not be his match. Lila felt that her odds of winning against him were less than 10%. Seeing that such a terrifying expert was easily chopped into pieces by the Starry Sky Rippers, Lila and the other 2 high elves didn't dare to act rashly. "You win. Let us go!" Heart roared, activating the domain of Earth to form numerous rock giants. The rock giants frantically attacked the Starry Sky Rippers and blasted them to pieces. The Starry Sky Rippers had a terrifying speed of Mach 10, but as soon as they entered the Earth domain, they felt as if they were carrying a mountain on their backs. Their speed plummeted to Mach 1, and then they were smashed to pieces by the rock giants. Any great warlock rank expert that entered Heart's Earth domain would be bound by gravity. He could also draw the power of the Earth from the Earth domain, combining offense and defense into one, extremely tyrannical. By relying on the Earth domain, many Starry Sky warlock rank experts may not be his opponent. Even so, the seemingly endless swarm of Starry Sky Rippers still made Heart fearful, and he admitted defeat and shouted loudly. Chapter 415. Go to the Netherworld and accompany your good brother. Blood-curdling voices came from the Starry Sky Rippers. 200,000 gunner troops and artillery troops equipped with flight devices rose into the air and formed a mechanical cloud in the sky. In the next moment, countless railgun and positron beams barreled towards the area where Heart and the other 2 giants were located like raindrops. Heart's expression changed drastically. He frantically urged his Titan's power, and within the Earth domain, 100-meter-tall rock giants suddenly appeared, forming a wall in front of him. Boom, boom, boom. When the countless rays slammed into the rock giants collapsed and shattered, and the endless light instantly engulfed Heart and the other 2 giants. When the light disappeared, all that was left on the ground was a pile of broken flesh and all sorts of holes. Lila and the other 2 high elven powerhouses felt a chill in their hearts. Heart, who had comprehended the power of a domain, was definitely a genius powerhouse even among giants. Lila wasn't confident that she could defeat him. Under the bombardment of countless robots, such a powerhouse was instantly crushed, leaving Lila and the other 2 powerhouses not daring to make any unusual movements. Lila said respectfully to a Starry Sky Ripper, "Sir, can we leave now?" A bladed troop flew over from the rear with 2 vials of liquid metal nano-robot elixir in hand, handed them to the 2 high elves, and said coldly, "It's too late. Inject these elixirs and you'll be able to live. Otherwise, you'll die here." The semi-plane seed was extremely important to Yang Feng's cultivation, and he couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Yang Feng didn't want to be killed by an arrow while he was absorbing the semi-plane seed. Lila's complexion changed several times. She looked around and clearly sensed that the surrounding space was full of chaos. Even if she wanted to use spatial spells to escape, she couldn't do so. After hesitating for a while, Lila gritted her teeth, picked up the vial of liquid metal nano-robot elixir, injected it into her right arm, and injected it into her body. The complexion of the other high elf changed several times. Then he smiled bitterly, picked up the vial of liquid metal nano-robot elixir, injected it into his right arm, and injected it into his body. After sensing that the liquid metal nano-robot elixir had the two high elves under complete control, Yang Feng followed the huge mechanical legion silently to the top of the mountain range. When he arrived at the top of the hemispherical mountain range, Yang Feng saw a small sphere appear out of thin air in the center of a huge cave. Light brimming with the aura of life gushed out of the huge cave and entered the small sphere. Yang Feng looked at the small sphere with a scorching glint in his eyes. The small sphere was a semi-plane seed. Once the demi-plane seed matured, it would enter the astral boundary in accordance with the astral boundary's law. It would drift in the astral boundary while absorbing all kinds of matter, and finally transform into a demi-plane. The semi-plane would also drift in the astral boundary. If one was lucky, it would enter the astral boundary, and the astral plane, and astral boundary. If one was unlucky, the semi-plane would evolve into an abandoned and dead celestial body. Yang Feng first set up a magic array in the surroundings and covered it with intermediate magic crystals, then silently recited an incantation, conjured Mage Hand, grabbed the semi-plane seed, and pulled it from the cave to his side. Yang Feng pulled the semi-plane seed out of the cave, then silently recited an incantation and pointed at the semi-plane seed. Primal chaos magic light gushed out of Yang Feng's finger and entered the semi-plane seed. The semi-plane seed flew into the air and strangely entered Yang Feng's forehead. In Yang Feng's spirit sea, the semi-plane seed slowly fell into his spirit sea. Yang Feng operated a secret method recorded in the primal chaos imperishable body, and a soul seed flew out of the center of the spirit sea. The soul seed split into two halves. One half entered the semi-plane seed, while the other sunk into the spirit sea. The magic array beside Yang Feng lit up, and intermediate magic crystals released formidable life magic energy. Under the effect of the magic array, the life magic energy turned into white smoke that entered Yang Feng's eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. When the life magic energy entered Yang Feng's body, under the effect of the primal chaos imperishable body secret method, it turned into primal chaos force and poured into the semi-plane seed. The semi-plane seed, which had half of Yang Feng's soul fused with it, gushed with traces of the law of space, suddenly expanded, and evolved into a barren and dead space about 100 meters in size with only some rocks suspended in Yang Feng's sea of knowledge. With the help of the mysterious and unfathomable law of space and a trace of the world law, the space born from the semi-plane seed didn't burst Yang Feng's head. A copious amount of pure life magic energy was extracted from the magic array, entered Yang Feng's body, and turned into primal chaos force that poured into the semi-plane. Yang Feng's body seemed to transform into a bottomless black hole. When the life magic energy, which could have caused him to explode before, entered his body, it immediately disappeared and was converted into primal chaos energy that entered the semi-plane. As if it sensed something, the cave born from the semi-plane ejected golden energy into Yang Feng's body and poured into the semi-plane. Under the nourishment of the golden power, the demi-plane expanded inch by inch. At the same time, wisps of faint world power kept brewing within the demi-plane. At the foot of the mountain, the space suddenly rippled, and a 2-meter-tall devil with a pair of ghost horns on its head, a hideous face, and a strange rune engraved between its eyebrows, a pair of black wings on its back, and countless strange runes engraved on its body suddenly appeared out of thin air. When she saw the devil, Lila's pretty face changed, and she exclaimed, "Void Devil!" Void devils were a branch of devils. Void devils were proficient in spatial force from birth. Adult void devils were great warlock rank great devils, and there was no lack of Starry Sky Warlock rank Devil Barons. Legend has it that Void Devils could move freely in the void, and many defensive spells and barriers could hardly stop them. Even many Starry Sky Warlock rank experts, if they didn't learn targeted spells, would be silently killed by Void Devils. The Void Devil swept Lila with a glance, and then revealed a malevolent smile. Two great Warlock rank High Elves. Stay put. Otherwise, I don't mind tasting the brains of High Elves. As human warlocks spread to countless planes, experts of many planes began to use human warlock standards to measure them. Lila's pretty face changed slightly, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with fear, but her body moved involuntarily. She silently recited an incantation and took out a green high elven bow, and the aura of nature permeated her body and formed an arrow of nature. When the arrow of nature took shape, it turned into a stream of light and shot towards the Void Devil. The high elven Werther beside Lila involuntarily unleashed the arrow of the sun, and a resplendent ray of light shot towards the Void Devil. The face of the Void Devil suddenly changed dramatically. The mysterious and profound runes on its forehead flickered, and fearsome void force suddenly emerged. Its figure fluttered, and it entered a space. The arrow of nature and the arrow of sun pierced through space and shot towards the Void Devil. The arrow of nature and the arrow of sun were secret archery skills of high elves, and they possessed boundless might and the terrifying power to pierce through space. The face of the Void Devil changed dramatically. The mysterious runes all over its body flickered, and it frantically jumped through the 9 layers of space. When the arrow of sun reached the 6th layer of space, its power was exhausted, and it strangely disappeared from the 6th layer of space. When the arrow of nature reached the 8th layer of space, its power was exhausted, and it strangely disappeared. In the 9th layer of space, the Void Devil's figure blurred, and it smiled ferociously. Humph! Unfortunately, your limit is the 8th layer of space. If you want to hit me, you're still missing a layer of space. This time you're dead. The countenance of the two high elves Lisa and Werther changed dramatically, and their eyes shimmered with fear. The Void Devil was proficient in spatial force. Even their secret archery skills couldn't hit the Void Devil. They were practically helpless against it. At this moment, there were ripples and chaotic fluctuations in space. The face of the Void Devil fell, it trembled, and it was forced to fly out of the space. In the next moment, dozens of Starry Sky Rippers pounced on the Void Devil. Blade rays flashed, and the Void Devil was cut into countless pieces in an instant. Only its head remained, which fell to the ground. Although the Void Devil was proficient in spatial force, but in terms of fleshly body, it was far inferior to the 3-headed gold dragon and the giant. The 3-headed gold dragon and the giant perished under the siege of the Starry Sky Rippers, and the Void Devil was naturally no exception. When Lisa and Werther saw the Void Devil die just like that, there was a queer look in their eyes, and they looked at the Starry Sky Rippers with apprehension. Chapter 416. Time passed, and 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. During these 7 days, several groups of great warlock rank powerhouses from different planes were killed by the huge mechanical legion when they approached the mountain range. 7 days later, the semi-plane seed in Yangfeng's Sea of Knowledge expanded into a circular island with a diameter of 1,000 meters and a thickness of 100 meters. The golden light in the cave slowly disappeared and shrank back into the cave. Yang Feng slowly opened his eyes, and felt his body covered in a layer of black impurities and exuding a foul smell. When the semiplane seed formed a miniature semiplane in Yangfeng's Sea of Knowledge, the world force produced by the semiplane cleansed Yangfeng's fleshly body, greatly strengthening it. At this time, his fleshly body was even stronger than that of Starry Sky Warlock rank dragons, and it was full of vigorous life force and power. At this time, there were 3 mechanical baths with hot water and various precious elixirs placed beside him. Yang Feng smiled, then stepped into one of the mechanical baths, took a comfortable hot bath, and quietly felt the changes in the power inside him. Yang Feng felt the nearly endless power inside him, and the corners of his mouth rose into a smile. After integrating the semi-plane seed, my primal chaos imperishable body secret method can be considered to have crossed the threshold. It turns out that many of the previously incomprehensible things can only be displayed after integrating the semi-plane seed. The primal chaos imperishable body was an extraordinary secret method created by the second Warlock dynasty's taboo lord in his later years. When Yang Feng's true body first cultivated this secret method, he was able to contend against some weak Starry Sky Warlock rank freaks in the Great Warlock realm. But it wasn't until he integrated the semi-plane seed that he truly cultivated the primal chaos imperishable body to the entry level. In the bath, Yang Feng pointed with a finger, and spatial aura diffused from him and formed a powerful spatial domain around him. The semi-plane seed extended into space inside Yang Feng's spirit sea and became a real semi-plane. During this process, Yang Feng naturally comprehended the mysteries of the law of space and formed a spatial domain. Looking at the distorted space in the spatial domain, Yang Feng showed a satisfied smile. After taking a bath, Yang Feng descended from the mountain and arrived at the foot of the mountain, in front of the two high elves Lila and Werther. After Lila saw Yang Feng, surprise flashed past her beautiful eyes, and she revealed a look of understanding, a human warlock. Among the 36 primary material planes, only the Xianxia plane's 6th Warlock dynasty's golem lord has used mechanical golems. None of the other 36 prime material planes had developed in the direction of mechanical civilization. The Feisua plane was a plane ruled by gods, the plane of dragons was a plane ruled by dragons, and the other 36 primary material planes also had formidable existences comparable to gods and demons who ruled over everything. There was no soil for a mechanical civilization to survive. The essence of a mechanical civilization was to allow the weak to rely on the power of machines to display heaven-defying combat power. An ordinary person who wasn't even a knight could possibly destroy a moonlight warlock by pressing the launch button of a nuclear warhead. Once such a dangerous civilization showed any signs of development, it would be destroyed by the powerful existences comparable to gods and demons who ruled over everything in the 36 primary material planes. Yang Feng walked up to Lila and looked at her carefully. His eyes revealed a look of satisfaction, and he said with a faint smile, "Not bad, elves are really beautiful. I am Yang Feng. From today on you are my maid. As for him, he is my guard." Although Lila wasn't as devastatingly beautiful as the great elven monarch Xianxia, but she was still a first-rate elven beauty. Among humans, she was a one-in-a-million beauty. She was already qualified to act as Yang Feng's maid. Lila was both ashamed and angry, yet her cherry lips involuntarily said respectfully, "Yes, master." Werther wanted to step forward and say something, but he couldn't control his body, and could only glare at Yang Feng. Yang Feng turned his head to look at the sky and revealed a smile. "Since my goal has been achieved, it's time to go back." Time elapsed, and several months passed in the blink of an eye. The demonic fighting sect's astral gate shone brightly, and Yang Feng walked out of the astral gate with Lila and Werther. The three of them had just walked out of the astral gate, when tremendous spatial force descended from the sky, enveloped the three of them and teleported them away in an instant. With a flash of light, Yang Feng's group of three appeared in the astral palace. The person sitting next to the counter of the astral palace was Zhang Lei. When he saw Yang Feng and his party, Zhang Lei showed a smile and greeted them. "Senior disciple brother Yang, you're back. Who are these two?" Yang Feng replied with a smile, "They are my servants in the astral boundary." The two high elves Lila and Werther had wooden expressions on their faces. Zhang Lei's gaze swept Lila, and his eyes flashed with envy, saying, "Senior disciple brother Yang, you're really lucky to be able to capture two high elves as servants in the astral boundary." Lila was a daughter of nature among high elves. Although she couldn't compare to a peerless beauty like Xianxia, but she was still a first-rate super beauty, with an extraordinary temperament and an exotic charm. In the demonic fighting sect, there were only 20+ beauties more beautiful and more outstanding than her. Yang Feng responded with a smile, "I was just lucky." Zhang Lei hesitated for a moment before saying, "Senior disciple brother Yang, I have to remind you that these other races can only act in your residence. They can't walk around the demonic fighting sect at will. The demonic fighting sects experts who went to the astral boundary would often bring back some strange life forms. They would even go to other planes from the astral boundary to capture all kinds of intelligent life forms as pets. Many of those things were dangerous, so they couldn't walk around the demonic fighting sect at will. The two high elves Lila and Werther caught by Yang Feng might be beautiful female spies sent by high elves, so they couldn't walk around the demonic fighting sect at will. However, if they stayed in Yang Feng's residence or laboratory, there wouldn't be any problems. Yang Feng responded with a faint smile. I understand. Zhang Lei said with a smile, Senior disciple Brother Yang, the great sect competition is around the corner. I'm looking forward to your performance in the great sect competition. Great sect competition? Yang Feng was taken aback, and it took him a while to react. The demonic fighting sect was one of the 10 great sects of the Great Cloud Dynasty. The competition within the sect was extremely fierce. In order to fairly select the most outstanding disciples, the great sect was full of tests of various sizes. The great sect competition was the most important competition within the demonic fighting sect. Apart from the experts who had already promoted to the Moonlight Warlock rank, the rest of the demonic fighting sect's disciples would go all out in the great sect competition to strive for a higher level. The great sect competition was the best way for disciples in name to ascend to outer sect disciples to ascend to inner sect disciples, and inner sect disciples to ascend to true disciples. If Yang Feng hadn't been accepted as a personal disciple by Huang Yihe, he would have followed the process and climbed up step by step. Although he was now a personal disciple of Huang Yihe, he still had to participate in the great sect competition. However, he wasn't in the position of the challenger, but rather the position of the challenged. Yang Feng had just returned to the immortal Huang Palace with Lila and Huang Yihe, when Wang Jilan came up to him and said, Senior disciple Brother Yang, teacher has invited you. Yang Feng pointed at Lila and Huang Yihe and asked, What about them? Wang Jilan glanced at Lila, and a glint of jealousy streaked past the abyss of her beautiful eyes. She smiled sweetly, took out a golden bell, and shook it slightly. Two lifelike humanoid golems flew out of the golden bell and landed on the ground. Wang Jilan said with a smile, They will take them to your dwelling, senior disciple brother. Yang Feng nodded and followed Wang Jilan into the immortal Huang Palace. When Yang Feng arrived at the immortal Huang Palace, he sat down on the 7th praying mat at the front. A ray of light flashed. On the high platform, rays of golden light shone and condensed into Huang Yihe's figure. Huang Yihe said lightly, Yang Feng, the fighting demonic sect's great sect competition is in 7 days. Your cultivation base hasn't reached the Moonlight Warlock realm yet. According to the sect's rules, you must accept the challenges of the top 3 inner sect disciples. You've just joined my sect and haven't practiced cultivation for a long time. If you're not sure, then you can decline the great sect competition. Yang Feng asked, Teacher, can disciples use magic pets in the great sect competition? Huang Yihe replied, Of course. Magic pets, secret treasures, spells, and even luck are part of one's strength. Of course, they can be used in the great sect competition. Yang Feng said, Then disciple is willing to accept the challenges of the inner sect disciples. In the great sect competition, once a disciple got a good result, they would get great rewards and tremendous cultivation resources. Many of the cultivation resources even tempted Yang Feng. Huang Yihe was slightly surprised. Are you sure? The top 3 inner sect disciples are basically Starry Sky Warlock rank experts. They even have combat geniuses who comprehended a domain. They're not like those Starry Sky Warlock rank freaks outside. The fighting demonic sect was one of the 10 great sects of the Great Cloud Dynasty. Its cultivation system was very perfect. At the same time, there were countless precious secret methods in the sect, and there was no shortage of secret methods to cultivate to the Infinity Warlock rank. In the fighting demonic sect, there was a place similar to the demonic realm that could cultivate the fighting ability of disciples. The top 3 inner sect disciples could basically advance to become true disciples of the fighting demonic sect and were very likely to advance to the Moonlight Warlock rank in the future. Each of them could fight 5 or even 10 starry sky warlocks of the same rank outside of the 10 great sects. Yang Feng said full of confidence, "Disciple won't let you down, teacher." Huang Yihe took a deep look at Yang Feng and revealed a faint smile, saying, "Then I'm looking forward to your performance. If you do well, I'll give you a pleasant surprise." After chatting for a while, Huang Yihe had Yang Feng withdraw. Chapter 417. 7 days later, the Fighting Demonic Sect's internal great competition officially began. In front of the Fighting Demonic Sect's grand arena, there was a dais. On the dais sat ordinary elders, as well as some true disciples who haven't promoted to the Moonlight Warlock rank. At the top of the dais sat the chairpersons of the Fighting Demonic Sect's major branches. Each of them was a Moonlight Warlock, and some were even Glorious Dawn Warlock rank powerhouses. As one of the Great Cloud Dynasty's 10 great sects, the Fighting Demonic Sect had countless secret methods. According to the cultivation of different secret methods, different branches were formed. There was the Elixir Peak that specialized in the cultivation of pharmacy, the Alchemy Peak that specialized in the cultivation of alchemy, and so on. The Great Sect Great Competition of Outer Sect Disciples was the day when the chairpersons of the major branches came to select Inner Sect disciples. The peak lords of the major branches would choose the Outer Sect disciples that they liked and then send out invitations to those Outer Sect disciples to join their branches. Sitting on a dais, Yang Feng swaggered down from the dais, overlooking the grand arena below. On the dais, everyone was a Starry Sky Warlock rank powerhouse or above. He was the only great warlock, which was very eye-catching. Not far from Yang Feng, there were 3 people sitting. One of them was a young man with long blood-colored hair and an unruly glint in his eyes. The other was a beautiful young woman with a sexy and voluptuous figure and waist-length pitch-black hair dressed in a snow-white warlock robe. The other was a young man with an ordinary figure and appearance, but his eyes were bright and spirited, looking like they could suck in people's souls. The space around the 3 young men and women was very spacious. The powerful life force they exuded was different from that of others, second only to the chairpersons of the major branches. Yang Feng's gaze was attracted by the 3 young men and women, and he took a deep look at them. Wang Jilan, sitting next to Yang Feng, said softly, "Senior disciple Brother Yang, the 3 of them are Zhang Hanshan, a personal disciple of Great Elder Yu Wuxian, Zhui Yifan, a personal disciple of Great Elder Helian Nu, and Zhou Feng, a personal disciple of Great Elder Yu Jingang." Wang Jilan was a Starry Sky Warlock with superior level 6 soul aptitude. In addition to being a disciple in name of Huang Yihe, she was also a true disciple of the Fighting Demonic Sect. Yang Feng's eyes suddenly revealed a look of understanding. Huang Yihe and the other 3 great elders are 4 bright world warlock rank powerhouses of the Battle Demon Sect. Even the sect master is only a Glorious Dawn warlock rank powerhouse. The status of the direct disciples of the 4 great supreme elders was naturally much higher than that of ordinary true disciples. Similarly, the direct disciples of the 4 grand elders were all geniuses among geniuses. Wang Jilan was a genius with a superior 6th rank soul aptitude. In many sects, she was a once-in-a-century genius. However, he was only one of Huang Yihe's disciples in name. The strictness with which the 4 grand elders accepted disciples could be imagined. After glancing at the 3 young men and women, Yang Feng's gaze fell on the grand arena. At this time, the grand arena had been divided into dozens of arenas. Nearly tens of thousands of Battle Demon Sect in-name disciples gathered around the grand arena. The atmosphere was solemn. How come he's sitting there? Among the tens of thousands of disciples in name of the Fighting Demonic Sect, a pretty and lovely girl with bright eyes and white teeth looked at Yang Feng sitting on the dais, widened her eyes, and exclaimed. A tall and slender woman with outstanding looks frowned slightly and said in a low voice, "Sister Jing'an, the ones sitting there are all the direct disciples of the sect, or the 4 great supreme elders' personal disciples. You're being too disrespectful. We are just ordinary disciples in name. A casual word from those true disciples can make it difficult for us to move an inch in the sect." The shock in Shu Jingman's eyes faded a little. Recalling the scene from a few years ago, she whispered, "By the way, senior disciple Sister Yurong, are the personal disciples of the four great elders sitting there?" Jiang Yurong's beautiful eyes flashed with envy, and she uttered, "That's right, the personal disciples of the four great elders are sitting there. That person is Yang Feng, who just became a personal disciple of great elder Huang Yihan not long ago. I heard that he ventured into the Feisua plane as a level 2 warlock and killed a demigod rank expert, which is how he obtained this qualification." Shu Jingman's beautiful eyes flashed with a peculiar glint, and she whispered, "He actually did it." Jiang Yurong's beautiful eyes flashed with envy, and she said with a light smile, "Junior disciple Sister Jingman, your soul aptitude is outstanding. As long as you practice hard, there's hope for you to become a personal disciple of the four great elders in the future." With an inferior level 7 soul aptitude, Shu Jingman was regarded as an outstanding genius in the Battle Demon sect where geniuses were as common as clouds. In just a few years, she had already cultivated to the level 3 warlock realm. This cultivation speed was already extremely heaven-defying. It should be known that in the Tyrannid subcontinent, many warlocks were trapped in the level 1 warlock realm all their lives, unable to break through until they died of old age. Shu Jingman said with a smile, "Big sister, you're also very amazing. You're ready to break through and promote to a great warlock." Jiang Yurong showed a bitter smile. "A great warlock? I've practiced cultivation for more than 100 years before I touched the threshold of a great warlock. Even if I advance to a great warlock, there's no hope for me to promote to a starry sky warlock in the future. In the Tyrannid subcontinent, to advance to a great warlock after more than 100 years, one would definitely be regarded as a genius among geniuses. However, the Battle Demon sect was different. There were countless secret methods, knowledge, and resources in the Battle Demon sect. In such an environment, it was extremely difficult for someone to advance to a great warlock after more than 100 years to advance to a starry sky warlock. Shu Jingman could only remain silent, and her gaze fell on Yang Feng on the dais. Personal disciple. He actually became a personal disciple of the great elder Huang Yihan. Among the tens of thousands of disciples in name, He Feng also stared at Yang Feng's figure on the dais, his eyes full of envy, jealousy, and unwillingness. He Feng was originally regarded as a genius in his family, but after entering the Battle Demon sect, he realized that his talent in the Battle Demon sect was just above average. In the Battle Demon sect, geniuses were as common as clouds. Every step up required a lot of effort and effort. Seeing Yang Feng soar in a single bound and become a personal disciple of one of the Battle Demon sect's four great elders, He Feng was naturally filled with jealousy. In addition to Shu Jingman and He Feng, the gazes of the tens of thousands of disciples in name often focused on Yang Feng, full of envy and jealousy. Ignoring the gazes of the disciples in name, Yang Feng quietly watched the competition between the tens of thousands of disciples in name. Although the disciples in name did their best, but in the eyes of Yang Feng, who had seen countless spectacles, the spells of the disciples in name weren't worth mentioning. A few days later, the competition between the disciples in name was completed. The top 10 disciples in name were promoted to outer sect disciples, and then the competition between the outer sect disciples began. The Battle Demon sect's outer sect disciples were basically all great warlock rank experts, and the fights between them were much more exciting than the fights between disciples in name. A few days later, the competition between the Battle Demon sect's outer sect disciples ended, and the top 10 outer sect disciples were directly promoted to inner sect disciples. The main force of the Battle Demon sect's inner sect disciples were great warlocks and starry sky warlocks, while the pinnacle powerhouses among the inner sect disciples were all starry sky warlock rank powerhouses. The fights between them were brilliant and varied, and various secret methods emerged one after another. Yang Feng looked down at the great arena, his eyes flashed with curiosity, and he whispered, "That guy seems to be very strong." In the grand arena, there stood two people. One was a handsome young man dressed in a cyan warlock robe. The other was a man with short black hair, dressed in black, and eyes flashing with an untamed and overbearing glint. At a glance, he looked like he was shrouded in darkness. Wang Jilan said with a sweet smile. That's the Dark Demon Peak's eldest disciple brother Zhong Sunan. He's the strongest in this great competition. Reportedly, he has comprehended and condensed a darkness domain. Furthermore, his cultivation base has reached the intermediate Starry Sky Warlock rank. Yang Feng stroked his chin and said with a faint smile, he comprehended a darkness domain? Not bad, right? Wang Jilan took a deep look at Yang Feng, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with a peculiar glint. To be able to comprehend a domain, no matter where one was, one would be regarded as a genius. After all, even in the Battle Demon sect, some Moonlight Warlock rank powerhouses had yet to comprehend a domain. Yang Feng's lack of fear towards Zhong Sunan made Wang Jilan a bit more curious about his strength. In the Grand Colosseum, the young man dressed in a green warlock robe cast the Battle Demon's secret method, and a set of golden armor enveloped him. As if a golden god of war, he exuded frightening fluctuations of power. The fluctuations of power of the golden battle demon formed by the green-robed warlock were more than 10 times stronger than the golden battle demon formed by Wu Ziming. Clearly, he was a top expert among the inner sect disciples. Zhong Sunan's gaze was cold, and he exuded a dark aura, and a darkness domain that seemed capable of devouring all light suddenly enveloped the green-robed warlock with him as the center. In a flash, the frightening darkness domain engulfed the green-robed warlock, emitting advanced Starry Sky Warlock rank fluctuations of power. After a dozen breaths of time, the green-robed warlock was spat out from the darkness domain. Riddled with scars, he passed out. The eyes of the elder presiding over the competition flashed with surprise, and he announced, Zhong Sunan wins. Zhong Sunan's eyes shimmered with an unruly glint. He took a deep look at Yang Feng sitting on the dais, showed a sneer, and turned to leave the great arena. Welcome to Legends of Cultivation, audiobooks, where we bring ancient fantasy to life through storytelling. Follow the rise of heroes who defy fate, unlock mystical powers, and battle across celestial realms. Our audiobooks are crafted for fans of Chinese cultivation novels, filled with battles, breakthroughs, and legendary artifacts. Subscribe and be part of an unforgettable journey into the realm of immortality.